Love cannot grow where fear lives.
Then tell me, are you afraid of me?
I'm afraid of hoping.
The healer said love must be chosen freely.
And what if I choose you? And you choose her again?
Before you were anything else, Bernard said firmly. Adora's hands clenched at her sides. Then why did you keep her? Bernard's shoulders slumped, a quiet confession slipping out. Because I was weak, because letting go felt like losing myself. And touching me didn't? She asked, voice trembling. He stayed silent for a moment, the truth too raw to speak. It felt like finding something I didn't know I was missing, he admitted finally. Adora looked away, pain and fear swirling in her eyes. Bernard, love cannot grow where fear lives. Then tell me, he said, his voice soft but steady, are you afraid of me? I'm afraid of hoping, she admitted, the words nearly breaking from her lips. Bernard took a deep breath. The healer said love must be chosen freely. And what if I choose you, and you choose her again? I won't, he said, almost too firmly. You said that before. I ended it, he said simply. She doesn't believe you, Adora said quietly, as if testing herself against his words. Do you? He asked, his voice barely audible. I want to, she said after a pause, barely above a whisper. Look at me, Adora, he urged. She met his eyes. I see a man torn between guilt and desire, she said softly, and I see a woman stronger than everyone in this village, he countered. Strength didn't save me from the curse, she said, almost bitterly. But it carried you this far, he reminded her gently. Adora's gaze dropped to the ground. What happens if the curse deepens? Then I stay, Bernard said without hesitation. Stay? How? Publicly, completely, no shadows, no secrets, he said, his voice steady and resolute. Monica won't allow that, Adora said, doubt threading her words. She doesn't decide anymore, he replied firmly. Adora's voice shook. She said she knows who cast the curse. Do you? He asked sharply, a flicker of fear and anger in his eyes. I was told never to ask, she admitted. Then we asked together, he said simply. And if the answer destroys us, she whispered. Then at least it will be the truth, he promised. Her hands trembled as she brushed them against her skirt. Bernard, last night was not a mistake, he interrupted softly, stepping closer. It wasn't chosen freely either, she confessed, the words weighted with shame and fear. Then choose now, he said, his eyes locked on hers. A long pause stretched between them. If I choose you, I choose pain before healing, she whispered. And if I choose you, I lose her forever, he admitted, his voice heavy with regret. Do you mourn that? She asked, her eyes searching his. I mourn the man I was when I needed her, he said quietly. And who are you now? A man standing in front of his wife asking for a chance, he said, his voice filled with both humility and hope. Adora's eyes glimmered with unshed tears. Love cannot be begged for, she said softly. Then let it be earned, he said simply, her hands tightened. Monica will strike again. Let her, Bernard said firmly. She knows things I don't, Adora said, a tremor in her voice. Then we stop running from them, he said, unwavering. I'm tired of being cursed, she said, almost breaking. Then let me be the first thing you choose without fear, he said, his voice gentle. And if the gods are listening, she asked quietly. Then they'll finally hear the truth, he replied. Her lips trembled as she whispered his name. Bernard, yes? He said, stepping closer. Stay tonight, she said, the words heavier than any sword. I never planned on leaving, he whispered back, his hand brushing hers as they stood together in the pale glow of dawn, the first fragile threads of trust and love weaving between them. The days that followed were quiet, almost fragile, as if the world itself had paused to watch the unfolding of fate. Adora began waking before dawn, her skin lighter, her eyes brighter. The the subtle glow of her restored beauty creeping back like sunlight through clouds. Every day, Bernard noticed it, and with each passing moment, his heart seemed to swell with admiration, awe, and longing he had never allowed himself to name. It was not only her appearance that drew him, but the strength that radiated from her in every careful movement, every quiet word. She no longer seemed merely a solution or a bridge between survival and duty. She was Adora, fully herself, a woman who had endured curses and betrayal and emerged resilient, beautiful, undeniable. One morning, Bernard found her in the courtyard, her hair falling freely over her shoulders, the sunlight catching it like strands of gold. She was folding clothes, humming softly, a sound that made his chest ache with longing. "You look different," he said, his voice catching. Adora glanced up, cheeks flushing. "Different?" "Yes," he said, stepping closer. "Stronger, brighter. I can't take my eyes off you." A soft laugh escaped her, though she hid it behind her hand. "I'm still cursed," she said, teasing lightly, though the sparkle in her eyes betrayed her joy. "Cursed or not," he said, voice low and fervent, "I have never wanted anyone as I want you." Her heart thumped violently in her chest. For the first time, she did not flinch at his words. Instead, she allowed herself to feel the truth behind them, the devotion, the care, the slow burning love that had begun in shadows and secrecy, but now shone as brightly as the morning sun. While the world seemed to heal in quiet moments, another shadow stirred far from the village. Monica had disappeared into the dark forest, driven by rage and envy. Her beauty, flawless and intoxicating, had long been her weapon, the tool she had wielded to ensnare Bernard's attention. But the forest was unforgiving, and the ancient magic that governed it was not swayed by human desire. Monica wandered deeper into the woods, murmuring incantations, seeking a way to reclaim what she had lost. Bernard's heart, the adoration she believed was hers by right. She paused in a clearing, eyes narrowed, whispering Adora's name as if calling the woman's essence toward her. The forest, ancient and alive, did not answer in kindness. Instead, a chill swept over her, and the vibrant warmth of her skin began to fade. Her roses of hair dulled to ash, her radiant skin grew pale, and her beauty, the very weapon she had relied on, was slowly stripped away, as though the forest itself was punishing her greed. Panicked, Monica tried to flee, clutching her head, but the whispers of the forest were relentless. "You sought what was not yours. You stole, and now you are hollow." By the time she staggered out of the shadows, she was unrecognizable, a pale, broken version of the woman who had once entered Adora's life with charm and menace. Her reflection in a pool of water made her flinch. Where once she had wielded beauty like a sword, now there was only emptiness. Meanwhile, back in the village, Bernard could not keep his eyes from Adora. Each day that her beauty returned, each day that her confidence blossomed, his love deepened. He saw her not as a bride to be protected, but as a partner to be cherished, desired, and honored. Every glance, every laugh, every soft word she offered seemed to etch itself into his heart. Adora herself was beginning to feel something shift within her. No longer merely surviving, no longer hiding behind shame or fear, she began to notice the strength in her own reflection, the subtle curves and radiance the curse had once stolen. And with Bernard's unwavering gaze, she felt something else, something that had been waiting patiently all along, the first true stirrings of love, deep and undeniable. Yet in the distance, the forest stirred. Monica, stripped of her beauty and with fury burning behind hollow eyes, plotted her next move. She would not leave empty-handed. If she could not claim Bernard through charm, she would find another way, even if it meant bending dark forces to her will. And so the stage was set. Adora rising in beauty and strength, Bernard falling deeper in love than ever before, and Monica, hollowed and desperate, moving like a shadow in the forest, ready to strike for a love that was no longer hers by right. The quiet calm of the village belied the storm that was brewing, a storm that would test love, courage, and the very balance of the curse that had begun it all.